About half the water we use in Denver comes from the Colorado River, but negotiations on how to best manage that river have stalled. The federal government suggesting 5 possible ways to proceed. Some of those could mean Colorado would be required to limit our water use during dry years, something we've never done before. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon breaks down what we know so far.
It's really the lifeblood of the West.
The Colorado River.
I call it the hardest working river in America.
It serves more than 40 million people in the American West.
Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming are the 4 upper basin states. Arizona, California, and Nevada are the lower basin states.
James Eklund is a Western water lawyer.
Well, my dissertation there is from '93.
And Doug Kinney has studied the river for the last 3 decades.
You take water out of the equation, you take the river out of the equation. There's no farms, there's no businesses, there's no industry, there's nothing.
Both of them are waiting to learn how the river will be managed after the current rules adopted in 2007 expire at the end of 2026. Rules that help answer an important question.
If there's not enough water to satisfy everyone's demands, who has to take a cut?
The Bureau of Reclamation releasing 5 options for how the river could be managed starting in 2027. 3 of those suggest water cuts throughout the basin during dry years.
Colorado's never taken a cut in terms of the Bureau of Reclamation saying, you have to reduce your use, or we're going to shut off a valve or something and you're not going to get water.
We've done some pretty innovative things in Colorado when it comes to water conservation, but we've done those voluntarily.
Typically, states in the lower basin take the cut since they use more water with their drier climates.
The issue is, if that's not enough, if more cuts are needed, then what happens? The upper basin states say, well, if more cuts are needed, the lower basin should take those cuts as well. And the lower basin says, no, if more cuts are needed, those should be shared among the upper and lower basin.
If that were to happen in Colorado, water rights could dictate where we see such cuts, likely in cities.
We have this dynamic where most of the water is in agriculture, but that's also where most of the senior water rights reside.
Most junior of the rights, the ones that get cut first, are by and large are the rights held by front range cities like Denver.
A hypothetical for now, but one that could become reality in the future.
Climate change is the shark that's coming to eat us. Water is the teeth of that shark.
Is there still time to reverse it?
First rule of holes is when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. We can stop digging.
Because what's the West without water?
If this basin sneezes, the rest of the nation gets a cold.
Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
So interesting. And the guidelines for future management of the Colorado River must be finalized by August of 2026. Going in depth tonight, some scientists are concerned that extreme drought in Colorado will become far more common in the future. Research published earlier this month in the journal Science Advances found exceptional droughts happen less than once every 1,000 years. But warmer temperatures caused by climate change could make similar droughts occur once every 6 years by the end of this century. Now, the study found those droughts would last longer and cover wider areas.